Hi, my name is Adiana Martel, and I decided to do the second vlog option, which was to describe a persuasive speech that we thought was pretty memorable. And the speech that I chose was Caitlyn Jenner's acceptance award for the Arthur Ashe Courage Award. And she opens up that speech with a joke, which I think was pretty good on her part. It's attention grabbing. And then she talks about some of her high pressure situations that she's been involved in when she was Bruce Jenner and she was in the Olympics and raising some of the Kardashians, and that it was not very easy, but that it kind of helped prepare her for what she went through this past year. She relates to women, making a joke about matching her dress and her shoes and her hair and making sure she doesn't end up on Fashion Police's Worst Dressed. And then she kind of goes into the little bit of the heavier topics. She talks about being a transgender woman and how the Arthur Ashe Courage Award has given her this platform. And then she calls for education on transgender situations that can lead to bullying and murder or suicide, which we all know is a very real thing. From there, she goes on to name some of the victims, and she talks about how they made an impact on her during her transition, which I think kind of appeals to the pathos, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. She states that she wants to reshape the landscape of how transgender issues are viewed and how transgender people are treated, and to accept people for who they really are. Then she has this call to action, which is to join her in making a difference in the transgender community by educating everybody, and that we should all learn as much as we can about a person, and that transgender people deserve to be respected just like everybody else. And if we respect them, then in turn we make this world a better place. Then she acknowledges the fact that transgender people should be allowed to play sports as who they truly are. And I think it's important that she uses this word choice, because a lot of people could have said who they choose to be, but instead she says as they truly are. And I think that's really important, and it kind of just appeals more to the ethos of this, which we'll talk about at the end. And then she talks about some of the people who have been there for her during her transition and after her transition, and she thanks her family, and she becomes really emotional during this time, which definitely appeals to the human aspect. And then she finishes by saying that this isn't just about her, it's about everybody, and everyone is different, and that's not a bad thing, but we just have to work together in order to make this world a better place. So I talked a little bit about the appeals, and I think that was really important for her to use in this kind of persuasive speech, because she is trying to persuade people into treating transgender people as any other normal person, not somebody who's different. Her ethos, I think, because she's a celebrity, and she was given this platform, and somebody who has actually been through the transition from male to female, she is definitely credible. She's a credible speaker on this topic. And then logo, she uses some statistics while talking about the transgender community. She talks about some of the people who've made an impact on her, some transgender people from that she's come to know over the past year, and she talks about their stories and uses real facts, and I think that that's something that shows that she's pretty educated on the topic. She didn't just come up with this overnight. And then the pathos of this, I think the whole time it's pretty much emotion based. You can definitely tell that she's very emotional about this whole situation. She wants people to feel the same way that she feels, and she appeals to the audience's emotions. And I think that by doing this, you're most likely to get the response that you're wanting. It makes people feel closer to the subject, and like they can actually make a difference. And by appealing to the emotions, you're able to relate to the people on a different level. And lastly, I think Caitlyn Jenner uses a call to action that's it's not difficult for people to do. All she asks is that people just respect the transgender community, which I think is doable by everybody's standards. And when you use a call to action, all you do is you make people feel like they can make a difference. And I truly feel that one person could make a difference when it comes to respecting transgender people. All it takes is one person to kind of set the example, and I think Caitlyn did a great job.